Hello, my love. Sometimes the hardest truth we face is not about chasing the wrong dream. It's about holding on to something or someone that no longer feels right. Deep down, your soul already knows when something is misaligned. But letting go can feel terrifying. Today, I want to guide you through gentle signs to recognize when it's time to release and how to do it with grace so you can step fully back into your own light. 5 signs to notice your intuition feels unsettled. Peace is missing and your spirit is restless. You don't feel fully seen or valued. You find yourself shrinking instead of shining. Growth feels stagnant. Your dreams and passions are put on hold. Love feels more painful than joyful. The foundation of ease and kindness is gone. You no longer recognize yourself. The mirror shows a version of you that feels lost. Each of these is a gentle nudge from the universe, asking you to realign with your authentic self. Your intuition is the quiet compass of your soul, the voice within that whispers the truth even when your mind tries to ignore it. It doesn't scream or force itself onto you. It simply sends little nudges, feelings, or sensations that something isn't quite right. When you're around someone who's truly aligned with your path, your energy feels calm, safe, and at ease. You feel a sense of peace in your body, even if things aren't perfect. But when something is off, your intuition starts to stir. You might feel unsettled in your heart, restless in your mind, or even heavy in your chest. These are not random feelings, they are signals. Your body is speaking to you, telling you that the energy here is not in harmony with your spirit. It's so easy to dismiss intuition because it's not always logical. You may say to yourself, maybe I'm overthinking, maybe I'm being too sensitive, maybe I just need to try harder. But ignoring your inner wisdom often leads to more confusion, more self-doubt, and more pain later. The truth is, peace is your natural state. If someone or something constantly disrupts that peace, then your intuition is alerting you that this may not be the path you're meant to stay on. Peace is not boring, and it's not unrealistic. It is a sign of alignment. Think about the times when you forced yourself to stay in a situation that felt wrong. At first, the discomfort is small, just a whisper. Over time, the whisper grows louder, showing up as stress, sleepless nights, tears you can't explain, or even physical exhaustion. That is your intuition knocking harder and harder, asking you to listen. On the other hand, when you finally honor what your heart is telling you, you often feel a sense of release, like a weight has lifted, even if the choice is painful. That's because your intuition is guiding you back to your truth. Listening to your intuition takes practice, especially if you've been taught to value logic or external opinions over your inner voice. But remember, no one knows your heart better than you do. You are the one who lives with the quiet moments, the one who feels the subtle shifts of energy, the one who knows what feels expansive and what feels restrictive. Your intuition is your most loyal guide, and it will never abandon you. To strengthen this connection, create stillness in your life. Slow down, breathe, and check in with your body. Ask yourself, how do I feel in this space? Do I feel light or heavy? Safe or anxious? Calm or unsettled? Your intuition will answer, not in words, but in sensations and emotions. Learn to trust those signals because they are rooted in your deepest wisdom. When you honor your intuition, you honor yourself. You step out of confusion and into clarity. You stop fighting against your inner truth and start flowing with it. And even though letting go may be difficult, trusting your intuition ensures that you are always walking toward alignment, peace, and the life you were meant to create. Not feeling fully seen or valued can be one of the most painful experiences in any relationship. At first, it may appear in small, subtle ways, moments where your thoughts are dismissed, your accomplishments go unnoticed, or your feelings are minimized. Over time, these little cracks begin to add up, and you start questioning your own worth. You may find yourself shrinking to fit into the space that's being offered to you, dimming your light just to keep the peace, or withholding your truth so you don't seem too much. But the truth is, you were never meant to live half alive. You were born to shine, to be loved for your fullness, your flaws, your magic, and your fire. When someone truly sees you, it feels effortless. Your laughter is celebrated, your silence is understood, your dreams are supported, and your struggles are honored. You don't have to perform or wear a mask to be accepted. You can simply be yourself in all your beauty and complexity and still feel safe and cherished. That kind of love nurtures you and helps you grow. But when that sense of recognition is missing, it can feel like a constant uphill battle just to be acknowledged. You start overcompensating, trying harder, giving more, bending yourself into shapes that don't belong to you, all in hopes of being appreciated. This cycle is exhausting and slowly chips away at your sense of self. The truth is, you should never have to beg for recognition or love. Your worth is not measured by how much you give, how quiet you stay, or how hard you try to earn it. Your worth is inherent. It exists simply because you exist. When you're not being seen or valued, it is not a reflection of your lack. It is a reflection of misalignment. You deserve to be in spaces and with people who notice the little details about you, who admire your passions, who hold your heart with care. Anything less is asking you to settle for shadows when you were made to live in the sun. It's natural to want to hold on and hope things will change. Maybe if you adjust yourself, maybe if you try again, maybe if you're patient enough. But here's the truth. Love that asks you to disappear is not love. Love that requires you to shrink is not love. Real love expands you, it makes you feel alive, and it gives you the courage to become even more of who you are. So if you find yourself in a space where you're not fully valued, let this be your reminder you are worthy of being seen. You are worthy of love that doesn't question your worth, that doesn't dim your light, that doesn't make you doubt yourself. Step away from what doesn't honor you, not because it's easy, but because you deserve better. When you choose to walk away, you send a message to the universe. I know my value, and I will no longer settle for less. And with that, you create space for the love and connections that truly see you, celebrate you, and allow you to bloom. Growth is one of the most beautiful parts of life. As human beings, we are meant to evolve, to learn, to stretch into bigger and better versions of ourselves. In a healthy relationship, that growth is not only allowed, it's encouraged. The right environment feels like soil that nourishes your roots and sunlight that reaches for your petals. But when growth feels stagnant, when you find yourself stuck in the same patterns, silencing your dreams, or putting your passions on hold, it's a clear sign that something is misaligned. At first, you may not notice it. Maybe you're so focused on keeping things stable that you ignore the ways your goals are quietly slipping away. You tell yourself you'll pursue your hobbies later, you'll chase your ambitions someday, you'll return to yourself when the time is right. But days turn into months, and months turn into years, and suddenly you realize you've been standing still when your soul longed to move forward. That stagnation doesn't just affect your outer life, it affects your inner spirit. You begin to feel restless, unfulfilled, or even resentful, because deep down you know you were made for more. True love and true alignment should feel like expansion. When you're surrounded by the right energy, you feel inspired to grow, not afraid to outgrow. You're supported when you try new things, cheered on when you take risks, and comforted when you stumble. But when growth is stifled, it often looks like guilt for dreaming too big, fear of rocking the boat, or pressure to stay the same. You may catch yourself saying, maybe later, to the life you want, but later rarely comes if the environment keeps holding you back. Stagnation is not only about your dreams, it's also about your spirit. You may notice your creativity fading, your excitement dulling, or your motivation disappearing. That's because your soul thrives on expansion. When that expansion is denied, it begins to wither. This is why it's so important to pay attention to how you feel in your daily life. Do you wake up feeling inspired, or do you wake up feeling trapped? Do you feel like you are becoming a fuller version of yourself or a smaller one? Your answers will tell you everything. Letting go of what stunts your growth is not selfish. It is necessary. Choosing yourself does not mean you don't care about others. It means you care enough about your life to honor your potential. It means you trust that you deserve to flourish, to reach your dreams, to experience the joy of becoming all that you are meant to be. So if you feel stuck, ask yourself, is this helping me grow, or is this keeping me the same? And if the answer leans towards stagnation, remember that stepping away is not failure. It is a brave declaration that you are ready to water your own soul again. You were not meant to stay small. You were meant to bloom. Love in its truest form is meant to feel like warmth on a cold day, like a safe space where your heart can rest. Yes, every relationship has its challenges. Two people growing together will always face storms, but the foundation of love should be joy, ease, and kindness. When you begin to notice that love feels more painful than joyful, it's a sign that something has shifted out of balance. Instead of feeling lifted, you may feel weighed down. Instead of waking up with gratitude, you may wake up with dread or confusion. This isn't how love is meant to be experienced, and deep inside you know it. Painful love often reveals itself in cycles. There may be fleeting moments of happiness, but they are overshadowed by long stretches of sadness, disappointment, or conflict. The joy feels rare, and the pain feels constant. You may tell yourself, every relationship has ups and downs, and that's true. But when the downs outweigh the ups, when the smiles feel forced, and the tears feel endless, that's when you must listen closely to your heart. Love should not be a battlefield where you're constantly fighting for peace. One of the clearest signs that joy is missing is when you feel drained instead of energized after spending time together. Healthy love fuels you. It makes you feel alive, creative, and hopeful. Painful love, on the other hand, leaves you empty, questioning yourself and doubting your worth. The contrast is undeniable. Joy fills your cup. Pain leaves it cracked. It can be easy to stay, hoping things will change. You might cling to memories of when things were good, believing that if you just try harder, you can get back there. But holding on to a version of love that no longer exists only prolongs your suffering. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of hoping and hurting, wishing and waiting. The reality is, love that consistently hurts is not love. It is attachment, fear, or resistance to letting go. Choosing to release love that brings more pain than joy is one of the bravest acts of self-respect. It doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean the memories weren't real. It simply means you've decided to stop sacrificing your happiness for a connection that no longer serves your spirit. And while it hurts to walk away, the act of leaving opens space for joy to return to your life in new, unexpected ways. Remember, joy is not a luxury in love. It is a necessity. You deserve to laugh more than you cry. You deserve to feel cherished more than you feel questioned. You deserve love that feels safe, uplifting, and kind. And when you choose to let go of what hurts, you are choosing to honor yourself, your peace, and your future. That choice, though difficult, is the key that unlocks a life filled with genuine joy, the kind of love your heart has always known it deserves. There may come a moment when you look in the mirror and no longer recognize the person staring back at you. You see tired eyes, a dimmed spirit, or a version of yourself that feels far away from the woman you once knew. That quiet loss of self doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, Piece by piece, when you silence your voice, compromise your values, and tuck away your dreams just to hold on to something that no longer feels aligned. At first, you convince yourself that it's temporary, that you're just adjusting, that one day you'll feel like yourself again. But the longer you ignore the truth, the further you drift from your authentic self. This is one of the clearest signs that it's time to let go. And when your identity feels blurred, when you've poured so much of yourself into maintaining a connection that you've forgotten who you are outside of it. It's in the little sacrifices you make, the dreams you set aside, the parts of you you've hidden away. And while compromise is a natural part of any relationship, it should never cost you your essence. The right connection will celebrate your individuality, not erase it. Think back to the moments when you felt most alive, pursuing your passions, laughing freely, expressing yourself without fear of judgment. That version of you still exists, waiting to be remembered. Losing yourself is not permanent. It is only a signal that you are being called home. And coming home to yourself means choosing to honor your truth, even if it means walking away from what feels familiar. It can be painful to realize that you've drifted so far from who you are, but it can also be empowering. Because the moment you see it, you also hold the power to change it. You can begin to reclaim yourself piece by piece by saying no to what doesn't resonate and yes to what makes you feel alive. You can begin to rebuild your confidence by returning to the things you once loved. Whether it's creating art, exploring nature, or simply sitting in silence with your own thoughts, you can begin to remind yourself that you are whole and worthy, even without anyone else's approval. The truth is, love should never require you to abandon yourself. The most beautiful relationships are the ones where you can be your full, authentic self and still feel loved exactly as you are. If you have to hide, shrink, or change into someone unrecognizable, that is not love. That is compromise at the cost of your soul. And your soul is far too precious to lose. So if you no longer recognize yourself, let that be your awakening. Let it be the moment you choose to return to your essence, to step back into your own light, and to remember the woman you were always meant to be. Because the most powerful love you will ever experience is the love you have for yourself. And when you find her again, the real you will never settle for losing her to anyone or anything ever again. My dear, letting go is not about losing. It's about making space. When you release what no longer serves you, you invite in what is truly meant for you. Thank the past for its lessons, bless it with love, and then walk forward with courage. Remember, you are already whole, radiant, and powerful. This ending is not your downfall. It is your beginning. The moment you choose yourself is the moment your future begins to bloom.